It's Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods.
Friday. .06 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. It's Tuesday, which doesn't suck as much as Monday.
Today's show is sponsored by Osculation Rejuvenation for when the hits the fan.
You just don't want to be on the wrong side of the fan.
Warning, this show contains reference to guns, liberty, limited government, low taxation, the cult of climate change, free thinking, cigar smoking, short people, rubber chickens, Karen's bureaucracy, liberal buzzwords, tour runs, traffic, toilets, terrible jokes, and more. No apologies will be issued. Guest callers may express any opinion they want without fear of being canceled. Unless you're a loudmouth jerk like Dave, then Glenn will hang up on you. Strap in, hold on to your coffee, and feel free to participate.
This disclaimer does not refer to every person named Dave, just one particular Dave from San Francisco. We know a lot of Daves. They call this show all the time, and they're great people. So don't call this program and complain that we use your name. That would be a real Dave move, Dave. Nice thing is no smoke alert today for the state of Wyoming. Now, the fires that were hit by that snow over the weekend are not completely out still, but they are so under control now and packed down low. In fact, the area around Sheridan, Wyoming, is going to get a little bit more weather today. That ought to help firefighters out just a bit more. So this is getting real close to being over up in those areas. It's not the big rangy, out-of-control thing that was before. And a lot of communities' evacuation orders that have been in place, ready to go just in case. Now they're telling people, don't worry, you can go home now. So we're getting real close to the end of this thing. And I'll keep you posted on that as it goes, because I've been watching, sometimes moment by moment through this whole thing, especially when we had some really smoky days out there. All right, bit on the windy, breezy side today is your weather forecast, and it's going to flip-flop back and forth between, oh, look, here's a little winter rain and snow mix, some cool temperatures, warm up a bit, back and forth it goes. But that's the time of year that we're in. So Don Day's extended forecast, 6:45. He'll be on with me at 7:45 to discuss all of that. Now, wanted to get to this real quick here. So, yes, as promised, Trump went to McDonald's. Have you seen the memes on the internet? Here's what I find interesting about this. When it comes to politics, if there's somebody that you don't like, you can't say anything good about it, no matter what. That's the rule. Even when somebody does something that's right. So for those people who are Trump haters out there, even when Trump does something right, says something right, does something right, they can't admit it. They got to twist it into being something wrong. And don't get me wrong, conservatives do that about liberals too. It's just that liberals so rarely do something right. But you understand anyway. So, okay, I've been having fun just watching the meltdown over McDonald's.
Hi, may I take your order, please?
Big Mac McDLT, a quarter pounder with some cheese, filet of fish, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a Happy Meal, McNuggets, tasty golden french fries, regular and larger sizes, salad, chef, a garden, or a chicken salad, oriental, beef, big breakfast, egg McMuffin, hot dog cakes and sausage, maybe biscuits, bacon, egg and cheese and sausage, Danish hash brown, 2 and 4 dessert, hot apple pies and sundaes, 3 varieties of soft serve, 2 kinds of shakes and chocolatey chip cookies, and to drink a Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, and orange drink is right, and coffee, decaf, 2 a low-fat milk, also an orange juice. I love McDonald's, good time, great taste, and I get this all at one place.
Would you like that to go?
Yeah. No, by the way, before I get into the whole McDonald's thing, because I'm going to have some fun with this, here's something. You might have noticed this, too. Here's something that I notice when I go to fast food places. So I'm in Cheyenne. It's Saturday. This is a very typical thing. Doesn't matter what fast food place I go to. And I wanted a little something for breakfast. So I walk up and said, I would like a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit and a small coffee for here, and that's all. And the lady behind the counter goes, so would you like a meal with that, with hash brown? No, I would just like a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit and a small coffee for here, and that's all. Okay, and what would you like to drink with that? Coffee for here, and that's all. Okay. Would you like that for here to go? Oh, my God. the number of times that I've had to put up with this, that I've walked up to any place and given an order, and this is what I end up hearing back. So are you not paying attention to anything that I said? But okay, all right, so put all that away for now. So Trump goes to McDonald's. Now, I think the reason that he did this was because Harris had continually said, well, when I was young and I worked at McDonald's, well, okay, there's no record that she ever did. So whether she did or not, I don't know. I wouldn't doubt that she lied about it because she lies about so many things. But, really, folks, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So Trump wants to make a point at this, and he goes to McDonald's, learns the fire machine, and he did a pretty good job at serving customers and talking about McDonald's and, minimum wage and all sorts of things like that. Made a pretty good show of it. But what does this really matter to the election? Nothing. No. What I do like, though, is the memes on the internet are brilliant. And the meltdown on the left. So I went not just to the MSNBC website, and, of course, they had to just tear him up. He's not allowed to do anything right. Okay. They even picked on him. Well, he couldn't even put on his own apron. Yeah. He went ahead and put the apron over the strap over his head, but somebody tied it for him. He can't even put on his own apron. See, again, anything they can say, anything. And it really doesn't matter. Again, to the whole election scheme of things, this doesn't matter. None of this matters. There's a feminist Facebook page that I like to monitor now and then. And they were in total meltdown mode and trying to insult Trump over all of this. And again, what does it really matter? Not a damn thing. Now, on that note, Newsweek used to be magazine. I don't know if they still put out a magazine version or not. So I came across this. It's a lot of fun these days to do artificial intelligence and tell artificial intelligence, make me a picture of, and it'll do all sorts of things. It's a lot of fun what artificial intelligence can create pictures of. So somebody made what looks like, you have baseball cards. It's a football card. And they show Donald Trump. It looks like the Steelers, I think. Yeah, Trump was campaigning in Pennsylvania this weekend and capped off the trip with a stop to the Steelers game. Okay, and so Donald Trump went to see the Steelers game over the weekend. Okay, good for him. And the picture is Donald Trump in a Steelers uniform at number 47. It's obviously Donald Trump's face and hair. Can't miss the hair. But his arms are these massive guns, and he's in really good top physical condition, like some kind of a linebacker or something like that. So Newsweek decided to do some fact-checking. Let's put that in air quotes, fact-checking. They actually decided to investigate, and here's what it says on their Twitter or X page. Donald Trump has shared what is likely an AI-generated image on True Social showing him a player for the Pittsburgh. What is likely? What is likely? It's obviously an AI image. Someone made an AI image of Trump as a football player, again, in top physical shape, and sent it to Trump, and Trump decided to share it. So because they said appears to be generated, the internet is having a field day with Newsweek magazine. Newsweek thinks you can't tell that this is a fake, says the story. Let's see. Quote, verified photos of the former president at a football game on Sunday night show him in a suite in Pittsburgh wearing a blue suit and a red tie. However, the image posted on True Social depicts Trump in a football jersey for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no evidence this ever occurred. Really, Newsweek? It's an AI-generated joke, Newsweek. Trump's torso and arms also appear to have been altered to appear more muscular, as they do in other... Well, duh. Okay. So Newsweek, along with many other people on the left, have completely lost their sense of humor.
It's not fun. We all know that. It's not fun. It's a full-time job. Conservatives, that must be so easy. You're not learning any pronouns. You're leaving your air conditioning on. You're throwing all your garbage in one hole. I'm out here. I'm like, did the compost go out? Is the compost out? How are the refugees? Are the refugees all right? What's the air quality index today? I remember last year in New York, January 15th, it was 75 degrees. And all of us New Yorkers, all of us liberal New Yorkers, we had to go outside and pretend that was bad. We had to go out on a beautiful January day and be like, this sucks, right? Climate change. I'm in a t-shirt. This is awful. Conservatives are like, wow, what a beautiful 75-degree Martin Luther King Day. I wasn't going to celebrate, but now I...
Glenn Woods. He talks to you, not at you. Be part of the show at 888-97-WOODS. This is Wake Up Wyoming on K2 Radio.
Time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. So, okay, real quick. Milo in Fort Danger is awake. Morning, Milo. So I was just talking about Trump going to McDonald's to do that whole thing, which to me, it doesn't mean anything. It's just funny and useless. And it's fun watching both sides react. The memes have been incredible, and the left has to do anything they can possibly do to make sure it's bad, because when we're talking politics, the person that you hate, you can't say anything good about them. Even if they do something right, you can't admit that they did something right. There's no way. Because it's politics. So everything they do is bad, no matter even if it's good or not. Milo says, can you just imagine the excitement of the young man teaching Trump to make fries? Well, it is something he is going to talk about for the rest of his life. I got to teach Donald Trump how to make French fries. I get to brag that when Trump was on this program, remember he came to Wyoming and to speak at the Ford Wyoming Center, and Trump came on this program, did a little interview with him, and while he was talking, he got excited, which some people do, and cussed. And so I had to hit the dump delay button to make that there's a 10-second delay in what you're hearing right now. If I hit that button, that 10 seconds disappears, and you'll never know. So I had to do that on a president. Now, how many talk show hosts in the nation have ever had to slap that dump button on a president? I think I might actually be the only one. Meantime, over something that was just a silly photo op thing at a McDonald's, there's got to be a meltdown on the left because, they're offended by everything.
Seems like these days, no matter what you say, someone's losing their ever-loving mind. It's like they're looking for a reason to have their fragile feelings hurt every single time. My country truck, I gas it up. You got your fancy Tesla hooked up to a plug. I know you're mad, you think I'm bad, 'cause I'm breathing free at last and you're still stuck behind your mask and I'm offended. Come on now, you're offended. Let's all get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here, screaming, yelling, cussing, fussing, fight
over absolutely nothing. So, okay, quick topic change here because I wanted to get back to this. Warming pattern is emerging over the past, not climate change, no. We had some cool down temperatures. We had some snow come into the area and some rain, and it really did help some of the fires, the fire in Togety Pass, the elk fire up near Sheridan. Here's the latest. It says infrared flights over the area, which they will do at nighttime especially, to see how the fire is doing. So the elk fire suggests most of the snow from a few days ago that significantly aided in controlling the burn is now gone. Temperatures are rising again. Increasing containment still means that there's some closures and evacuation. Well, most of them are easing up. According to the newest update from the Bighorn National Forest on Facebook, elk fire is 48% contained. Crew side has been reduced. Now it's about 549 personnel. They were up to almost to 1,000 at one point now, so they've cut off quite a bit. Forest Service warned residents to expect more significant plumes of smoke in the coming days when temperatures rise. Good idea. Now they're going in to fight where the hot spots are. Fire divisions have been using the calmer couple of days to prep ahead of the fire for containment efforts, suppression efforts are underway right now. They're looking for any opportunity they can find. Today is going to be windy. It's going to be up to 50-mile-an-hour winds. So they've been prepping for that, knowing that wind's going to come. The story says, while some significant routes, such as U.S. Highway 14 between Dayton and Burgess Junction, are still closed, other areas are opening back up. Sheridan County Sheriff's Department announced that areas ready for evacuation status are now reduced. You don't have to be on the ready all the time, but still, though, don't unpack yet. Areas of the set or go stages have likewise been reduced to just be ready. Just don't unpack. But you can go ahead to their Facebook page, which, by the way, I go on a regular basis. Sheridan County Sheriff's Office is one of them. There's also a Facebook page that is for the elk fire, which is the National Forest Service. They put up there as well. So that's what's been going on with that fire. And again, the Togety Pass fire is in the same condition right now. So I'll keep you up to date on that. Morning, tumbleweeds in KC. Headline, Trump finds cure for cancer. Thousands of doctors lose jobs. Actually, I wouldn't doubt that as a headline. I really wouldn't. Coming up on some local news we got to take care of. We're going to roll into weather forecast after that, and you and I get back into it. It's Wake Up Wyoming.
Friday.
Covering world-ending catastrophes for years to come. It's Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods. Find content, chat live, and listen on demand on the Wake Up Wyoming mobile app.
It's Tuesday, which doesn't suck as much as a Monday. It's all right. Before I get into this next one here, this is a warning, trigger warning up front. If you are chewing some food here, you might want to clear those passages because I don't want you spitting your food across the room. And if you're drinking coffee, just finish that. Just push it away. Okay, got it. Okay. So Liz Cheney. Yeah, I know. It's early in the morning for that, but all right. So you got to be considered like, oh God, what now? And I used to really like her, but this has gone just off the deep end. At this point, this is really off the deep end. So here's the latest. Liz Cheney, former GOP congresswoman who is a fierce critic of Donald Trump, said Monday she supports Vice President Kamala Harris for president over Trump because she, Kamala, will be faithful to the U.S. Constitution. I'm just waiting for the laughter to die down. You okay there? You got this? Okay. Quote, the most conservative of all conservative principles is being faithful to the Constitution, Cheney told a crowd at a town hall event in Pennsylvania. The first of a series of campaign stops with Harris. Quote, and you have to choose in this race between someone who has been faithful to the Constitution and who will be faithful and who won't be faithful, basically, which is Donald Trump. So let me ask you then, before I get all into this, because it goes on for a while. Do you really think Harris has been faithful to the Constitution? No, obviously not. And especially when it comes to individual liberties and freedoms and so on. Absolutely not. In fact, with many of Harris's beliefs, the Constitution gets in the way of the kinds of things that she would like to get done. There's also, in fact, let's talk faithful to the Constitution for a moment. When it comes to the abortion issue, the Supreme Court pointed out that if you look at the way our Constitution is set up, it's supposed to be something that's decided by each and every individual state, and that's why they ruled that way. Harris said that if she's president, she's going to get Congress to pass a federal abortion law, legalizing it, and she'll sign it immediately, which not only can she not get Congress to do that, but the Supreme Court just said that that's not constitutional. But she would remain faithful to the Constitution. That's one issue. I can pick many others in which Harris violates the Constitution. And so has Biden, especially with executive orders that get around the Constitution to get done what liberals like Harris and Biden and many other people want to get done. Constitution's in their way, but that's okay. They'll just write executive orders. They'll have the bureaucracy go ahead and write the rules for them. So that's someone who's faithful to the Constitution, which I look at and think, obviously not. But this is what, last time, Liz Cheney is saying on these campaign stops as she goes ahead and travels with Harris. And I don't think that really convinces anyone, as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong. Because, look, there are those you are Trump supporters and you're voting for him. And then there's people who are not and they're not. Believe it or not, there's still a group of people somewhere in the middle who haven't made up their minds yet. And if you're wondering, who the hell would not make up their mind? Well, it's because there are people who really don't pay attention to politics until the last possible minute. So all of what you know that's going on, if you listen to radio shows like this, especially throughout the day, you know a lot of what's going on. So you're up on the issues. You're informed. Okay. But there's quite a few people out there, you'd be surprised at many. They just don't pay attention to any of this. They don't want to. And so when it finally comes near, we got 2 weeks, believe that, 2 weeks till election time. And this is about when they start paying attention. And so will a Liz Cheney have any kind of influence? There might be a couple of people. Overall, I'd say no. But I think the reason Harris wants Cheney around, of course, I would think obviously, is because Cheney has been, as we've talked about before, while she was in Congress for Wyoming, one of the most conservative members of the House of Representatives at the time. She's really conservative. She still remains in many ways. So if you're thinking that, well, she's gone Democrat. No, she hasn't gone Democrat. She's still very conservative. But she's got this Trump thing going in her mind that he's about the most dangerous person that's ever held the office of president. So she just wants him gone by any means necessary, even if it's for voting for someone like Harris, who, I mean, I don't understand how she can look at Harris and think Harris is definitely dangerous for this country. How she doesn't think that blows my mind. But okay, that's why I say at this point, Cheney's really gone off the deep end. Although I don't know that she's really going to be all that effective when it comes to the final outcome. 642, Wake Up.
The only show broadcasting from a bunker under Devil's Tower. Hey, it's cold down here. Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods, 6 a.m. weekdays on AM 1030 and FM 95.1.
Wake Up Wyoming off. We go to talk to Frank Gambino, who is not in the house today. No one told me. Where are you?
I'm in Spearfish, South Dakota this morning, hanging out with my lad kid, and just kind of enjoying the fall weather, and then I'll be back in Wyoming later on today.
Oh, okay, good, because it's really low on candy there at the candy bowl at the haunted house in the hallway. So it's a good thing you're not here.
Well, no, it wasn't my fault. Some other people have been hitting that bowl.
Yes. Oh, I believe it.
A lot.
Yeah. I just know that you would complain the loudest.
Yeah, I am. I Halloween, we still got a few more days to go, and I know you have more candy.
I definitely do, yeah. But now I got to warn you, the next batch of candy, let me see, what is it today, the 22nd? Okay, so probably the next batch that I fill up the bowl with is all you're going to get up until Halloween, so you better make it last.
I'll just grab double like I used to.
Yes, and
most of your candy is in my desk.
Yes, well, there you go. Okay, so if I wanted to refill the bowl now, I could go downstairs to your desk, empty out all of the stash that you've put in there, and refill the bowl.
Pretty much, yeah. And then I'll take it back and then put it back on my desk again.
Okay, all right. So what are you doing with your kid while you're up there? Because that sounds like fun.
We were just bumming around, went downtown a little bit, checked out the fall trees and just hung out. It was cool.
Okay.
I mean, the weather was nice, really nice. It was warm yesterday.
Enjoy that while you can.
72, 73, yeah.
I did something which I think you'll enjoy. There's 2 galleries that are up. I went around the Casper area this year. Next year, I'll pick a different city. And I went around looking during the day, first off, for the best Halloween decorations, and I did a gallery. Then I went out at night and did it again. This time getting all the homes that have their Halloween decorations lit up. And there's some really wild things out there, Frank. I mean, I wish it was like this all year round.
I thought I saw one that they were the skeletons were having dinner.
Yeah,
with,
and there's
like wine glasses.
There's
and
also a pirate ship one. That was pretty good. And one guy took his entire house and made it look like a giant haunted house with a lot, including a huge graveyard up front. So some people go all out. Other people, they string a little cotton around, maybe buy a blow-up thing and call it good. So it just depends on how much you're into it. Now, I wonder if the people who did all out for Halloween, are they going to go all out for Christmas? I think probably not. You pick a holiday, you go with it, right?
I'm not sure. I think that's in their blood. In college football, the woe-begone Wyoming Cowboys did lose at San Jose State on Saturday afternoon, 24-14, to drop to a pitiful 1-6 overall, 1-2 in Mountain West Conference play. San Jose State didn't play a great game, but Wyoming is worse. And the Spartans turned the ball over 3 times in the first half, and the Cowboys just failed to capitalize with any points. As for quarterback Evan Swoboda, he threw a brutal fourth-quarter interception on a screen pass, and we've seen that before, and generally was ineffective. Head coach Jay Sauvel finally benched him, and Caden Anderson got a chance and threw 2 interceptions with a TD pass. It turns out in this week's game against Utah State that both of those quarterbacks will play. And the Cowboy running game was just absolutely non-existent last week, and the Polk defense surrendered 498 yards of offense to the Spartans. So Wyoming at 1-6 will host 1-6 Utah State in the Who Cares Bowl on Saturday night at 5 p.m. in Laramie. High school football first and 4A from over the weekend. Sheridan clinched the number 1 seed in the playoffs with a 41-14 win over Campbell County. Sheridan is 8-0 and Campbell County is 7-1. Cheyenne East is 7-1 after a 36-6 win over Rock Springs. East will play Campbell County this week. The winner will be the number 2 seed in the 4A playoffs, and the loser will be the number 3 seed. Natrona is firm in the 4 spot after a 62-0 win over hapless Cheyenne South. Cheyenne Central beat Kelly Walsh 24-14, so Central kept their playoff hopes alive at 2-6. They'll be at Natrona this week. The Tribe could finish as high as 6, depending on other games, or be out of the playoffs. Kelly Walsh is 3-5. The Trojans will host Rock Springs this week, and KW could be as high as 5th or be out of the playoffs. Laramie lost to Thunder Basin over the weekend, 47-14, so the Plainsmen at 2-6 could beat the playoffs or be out of the playoffs depending on other games. In 2A, Burns lost to Newcastle 49-14. Burns is 4-4. They'll be either the 2nd, the 3rd, or the 4th seed from the East in the 3A playoffs. Glenrock is still winless following a 44-24 loss to Upton Sundance. In 1A, 9-man top-rated Lingleport Laramie edged number 2 Pine Bluffs 30-27. Pine Bluffs will either be the 2 or the 3 seed from the East in the 9-man playoffs. In 6-man football, Midwest lost on the road to Matitsi 53-30. The Oilers could be in or out of the playoffs depending on this week's action. Same thing goes for KC, who beat Hewlett on Saturday 61-52. Casper Christian with 1 win this season in 6-man lost big to number 1 Little Snake River 59-7. Casper Christian has been eliminated from the postseason in high school football. That's it in sports.
Here's the big problem I see with UW losing so much. With the the Wyoming lottery, we have, when they win, a buy one, get one.
Right, and it's only happened one time, so
yes.
the lottery revenue is suffering.
Yes, it certainly has. And the odds of me being a winner, which of course have not improved at all with buy one, get one, but still, it's still zero. Zero is still zero. But still, though, it felt like I had a better chance, but they need to win some more games.
Yeah, we need to provide them some hope, but I'm not sure there's very much hope to be provided.
Not right now, no. All right.
No.
Take a nap. I'll talk to you again in an hour.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Coming up on some local business we have to take. We'll roll into news time after that. National local update on the weather forecast. You and I get back into it again. It's Wake Up Wyoming. 7:06 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. It is a Tuesday, which no matter how you slice it, doesn't suck as much as Monday.
Today's show is sponsored by Osculation Rejuvenation. For when the hits the fan.
Always remember, it matters which side of the fan you're standing on.
Warning, this show contains reference to guns, liberty, limited government, low taxation, the cult of climate change, free thinking, cigar smoking, short people, rubber chickens, Karen's bureaucracy, liberal buzzwords, tour runs, traffic, toilets, terrible jokes, and more. No apologies will be issued. Guest callers may express any opinion they want without fear of being canceled. Unless you're a loudmouth jerk like Dave, then Glenn will hang up on you. Strap in, hold on to your coffee, and feel free to participate.
This disclaimer does not refer to every person named Dave, just one particular Dave from San Francisco. We know a lot of Daves. They call this show all the time, and they're great people. So don't call this program and complain that we use your name. That would be a real Dave move, Dave. Hey, Laramie County, you're up for this next one. Going down to Laramie County, and right there in Cheyenne, they're going to buy this building. Now, I know this building. When I'm at the studios of KGAB in Cheyenne, Wyoming, I can walk over and look out a window, and right over there is this Wyoming Financial Center, and it's a tall building, tall by Wyoming standards. Remember what I've said before? In Wyoming, we have elevators, believe it or not. We have elevators in Wyoming. But no elevator has elevator music. And the reason for that is, well, you're not going to be in there that long. If you're in a major city and you're in some skyscraper, you're going to be in that elevator for a little bit, so they provide a little music to play in the background somewhere. In fact, here, while I'm at this, I actually did this a while ago. I can't explain other than some weird curiosity hit me. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can call this up to play for you. Okay. Oh, my God, 3 hours of the best elevator music. This is on YouTube. It's just one after the next of best elevator. Is there such a thing as best elevator music? Here's one with 1 minute worth of elevator. Who is getting on the internet and playing 3 hours of best elevator music? Well, okay. There you go. You get in an elevator, you head upstairs. This kind of stuff is, I'm sorry, let me put it to you another way. This kind of crap is playing in the background over there. Let's skip ahead with some other songs. No, that's going to be a little commercial. This is YouTube, so it's got to play a commercial for me. This is a Halloween commercial. Hang on. No, here's another. That's an Old Spice commercial it's coming up with. Let me get to the next. Here we go. There you go. Good elevator music in the background. Somehow they consider this to be relaxing when you're on it. Now, I have a theory behind this. Elevator music is designed to keep you nice and calm because you're going to be in a especially if you're in a major city, a very tight space for a while. And you don't want people getting mad at you, right? I mean, tempers can flare. Somebody stinks. Somebody didn't brush their teeth this morning. So this is what elevator music's all about. I'm just going to go ahead and play. Oh, my God. Here's a whole playlist. Wow. Okay. Oh, this is good. Hang on a second here. Okay. It's supposed to have a calming, soothing effect while you stand there for a while. But no Wyoming elevator has elevator music because you're never going to go that high. I got off on that tangent because it says here on the story, which is a Cowboy State Daily article, Laramie County, the county government, buys Wyoming's tallest building to house its growing government. Hang on. This is Wyoming's tallest building? Okay. I've been in it once before, but all right. Laramie County Commissioner Brian Lovett sees future population growth in Cheyenne as an issue of but when. Part of the growth, he believes, is inevitable someday. So it continues to grow over time as the number of citizens increase. This summer, Laramie County bought this building at 2020 Cary Avenue, known as the Wyoming Financial Center in downtown Cheyenne, for $5.5 million. So those people in Laramie County, just so you know, your local government did that, your county. The building now houses a few local businesses and is the tallest building in Wyoming at a mere 148 feet, and Denver laughed. The financial center is located across the street from the Laramie County government complex, so it's a convenient location. When considering the purchase, Lovett said, the best time to buy the ranch next door is when it's for sale. He mentioned prior instances when the county could have bought a small office building downtown, but passed on the opportunity and then later regretted it. When something comes up for sale next door to you, he says, you go for it. And Lovett said the county is already reaching its limit for available space for its departments and specifically courtrooms. So it's not just bureaucracy. When I saw that headline, they need a bigger building for growing government. And you know what I think about growing government? Part of it, though, is they're talking about courtrooms for this. You look at the activity in the courts, it's increasing, he says. Laramie County GOP Chair Tyrell isn't buying these arguments. He believes Laramie County purchase was part of a preemptive measure to grow government no matter what. I'm on that side. How about we don't grow government anymore? In fact, if anything, the county could go ahead and just rent off those office spaces and then eventually sell it, maybe make a profit at it if they can. The county purchase of the building from the Voss family limited partnership in July after it was originally listed for nearly $10 million, so they got it for $5.5. County offered $8.8 million before an inspection revealed the poor condition of the building. So they end up getting it for a little over $5 million. And if it's in poor condition, now they're going to have to do some fixing up in there. And how much is that going to cost? But I'm with those on the side of, so do we really want to go ahead and grow government? You're going to go buy more office space, and then you're going to figure out how to fill it, aren't you? Yeah, I don't think the county needs more office space. Big Wave is in Casper. That's like saying the 10 best ways to get poked in the eye. Oh, okay. You're talking about something else in that case. I get it. These are people who are texting me on the Wake Up Wyoming app while I'm talking about this. So for those people in Laramie County, I'm tossing it out there. Hey, you whatever opinion you've got, fine. My opinion is Laramie County should turn around and sell the building. It was a deal. The building was up for $10 million. They ended up getting for about half that. But now there's going to be all sorts of repairs. The office building, the only time I remember that office building being full was when the state of Wyoming was renovating the Capitol, and that included not just the Capitol building, but the Herschler building, which is behind the Capitol, which is a big building filled with bureaucrats, which is another building I'd like to tear down. We don't need all those bureaucrats. We needed some place to house them while the Herschler building was being fixed up. So they moved over to the building that I'm talking about temporarily, and then after the Herschler building was done, all the bureaucrats went back to where they were from before, so leaving that financial building mostly empty and up for sale. So, okay, we'll see what the county does with it, but I'm thinking that now that they have the building, and they're going to put way too much money into fixing it up, this will go over budget. And then they will find a way to fill it with more government.
Do you know why they put bells on cows? Because their horns don't work.
Wake up, Wyoming. Glenn Woods is live on AM 1030 K2 Radio and the Wake Up Wyoming mobile app.
7:36 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. All right, Don Day's on at 7:45. We'll talk about the weather, which does do a little bit of changing up, but nothing really horrible. And the weekend's looking really good. 888-97. Well, hang on to that phone number. Lawmakers, and we talked about this last week, but I want to bring this up again as the story develops. Lawmakers in a trucking group is signing into a lawsuit against the Environmental Protection Agency. Story says Arizona's Senate President and House Speaker Ben Toma, also of Arizona, and some truckers association signed on to an opening brief in a lawsuit against the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency over concerns about quickly mandated pivots to the electric vehicle semi-truck and other heavy-duty vehicles, which they argue could lead to, well, it will lead to higher supply chain costs, problems like that. The rule, we talked about this last week, is pushing for a quarter of those vehicles to be electric by 2032, which there's no way that's going to happen anyway, while hoping they get 70% of new customers' vehicles on the market to be electric at that time. There's also concern about regulations that would require trucks in Arizona that work in California to be replaced if currently running on diesel, according to the news release. There's California trying to dictate to other states what's going to happen. Well, if you want to do business with us, you better have electric vehicles, or you're not going to do business with us, says California. Well, then just forget you, California, is what I would say. We're not doing business with you then. And we talked last week about all the reasons why this is a bad idea. Weight is definitely an issue. The price of the vehicles, definitely an issue. I mean, the list goes on. Weight, not just for the vehicles to be able to pull, but also wear and tear on the interstate, and the list goes on and on. It's all right. Opponents have expressed concerns that it will create negative financial impact on businesses of all sizes. And yet, what you end up paying at the store, which reminds me, hang on a second here. I pulled this aside. There we go. So you go to the grocery store just to pick up a few. I mean, it's the holiday season. You're picking up a few items because friends are stopping by to visit.
Find everything you need today?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Oh, God. No.
Everything okay, ma'am?
It's just that you've only scanned a few items and it's already $60. I'm so scared.
Okay, I'm a trained professional, ma'am. I've scanned a lot of groceries. I need you to stay with me.
It's just that my in-laws are in town and they want a charcuterie board.
Well, this isn't going to be easy, so I need you to be brave, all right? What's your name?
Patricia.
Trisha, all right. I need you to take a deep breath. We're about to do the cheese.
Oh, my God. The numbers are going up so fast. Why do we have to be on Balderson's house?
Don't look up there. It only makes it worse. Keep your eyes on me, okay?
Can't you just scan something less expensive?
I can, but let's not forget, it's the little things that add up, all right? Now brace yourself. I'm about to do the mixed nuts.
Oh, my God, I'm going to pass out.
Okay, bite down on this, Patricia. Get ready. I'm going to do the cured meats.
No, stop. I can't do this anymore.
It's too late. There's a line behind you, okay? You're locked in.
I'm not strong enough.
I know it looks like a lot right now, but I promise you, you're going to get home and you're going to wonder, what did I even buy? You've got this, Patricia. Get ready. I'm going to weigh the grapes.
Oh, what have you done to me, you son of
Okay, your total's $257.84.
Oh, no.
You got to dig deep. This is the hardest part. Patricia, it's time to pay.
See, this is what happens when you think that's an exaggeration. Let me see if I can find the McDonald's one. Yeah, and this was McDonald's without Donald Trump being there, by the way.
Welcome to McDonald's. What can I get started for you today?
Yeah, can I just get a cheeseburger?
Okay, is that going to be offered today?
Yeah, it's going to be offered today.
All right, it's going to be $378.19.
Actually, I don't need the cheese. You can take the cheese off.
No cheese?
Yeah, let's do no cheese. No cheese.
All right, that brings your total down to $312.17.
That sounds better. That sounds better.
All right, and are you going to be paying in full or will you be financing?
Yeah, I'll be financing today.
Okay.
Let's do the finance.
All right, and after interest, your total will be $61 a month for 6 months.
All right.
See, this is what happens, now. Again, they want to bring on, the EPA does, electric trucks all the way across. Prices are bad enough as it is. Imagine what's going to happen if they end up bringing an electric truck, which they can't do. Again, it's not going to work that way. But just imagine for a moment what exactly would happen if they were able to. What would happen to all of your prices at the stores? Yeah, so it's bad enough as it is. Let's just go ahead and cause more inflation. But remember, they're trying to create an artificial economy, and artificial economies just simply don't work. They fall apart every single time. Eventually, they fall apart. And sometimes it's even disastrous when they do. So, all right, here's these lawsuits against the Environmental Protection Agency. It would be nice if we had a president and a Congress in charge that would just get rid of all of these regulations. That's what we're really looking for.
Okay, I'm usually not one to brag about expensive trips that I take, but I just got back from the grocery store.
Start your day the right way. Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods on K2 Radio. Join the conversation at 888-97-WOODS.
7:45 is the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming off. We go to talk to Don Day from Day Weather. Okay, Don, I have a little bit of a to-do list, if I could offer it up to you. Things we need to get done weather-wise.
Okay, go ahead.
A little bit more rain and snow up in the Bighorn to help with the fire. Can we do that?
Yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow night and Thursday. In fact, there might even be a few showers up there today, but tomorrow night and Thursday for sure.
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect. Temperatures should be slowly easing their way down, getting cooler. I know there's going to be some bobbling up and down, but we need to start working toward that cooler seasonal weather. Can we do that?
Yeah, the analogy I can give you is like going down a set of stairs. So you'll take a couple of steps down.
Yeah.
Then one day you go back up a step, but you're still going down the stairs.
Wow. Okay.
And that's kind of how it's going to go here over the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
As you said, vacillating between now and the weekend and then going down next week.
See, everybody just wants to ease into the cooler weather. Not like when you got a really cold swimming pool and you just jump in and get it over with. We don't like that. So easy.
No,
good.
no, that's never good.
Yeah, we would. Okay, next item on my list here. We could use a really nice weekend.
We're going to have one.
Okay. See, all you got to do is put in your request early with Don Day, and he just lays it all out there for you. Now,
it's all about what Glenn wants. That's
exactly.
I come in every morning. What does Glenn want?
Exactly. That's how this world works. Now, finally, as we get toward Halloween, now we would like to have a creepy Halloween weather-wise, but nothing brutal, so the kids can get out there.
Well, we'll see. There's two fronts next week. One front we're very confident about its timing, and that's going to be late Monday into Tuesday.
Right.
And that's going to bring about a pretty big change. There is the potential for a secondary system to come in behind it that could arrive Thursday around Halloween or the following Friday. But we're just not sold on it yet, at least its intensity. But I'll tell you this, it's going to be a lot cooler this Halloween than the last several. Okay. So that's one thing we're pretty confident of.
I do notice that we have some days here and there where the wind picks up a little bit, but nothing really Wyoming brutal yet anyway.
Well, yeah, but it's starting to ramp up. We're going to have some windy areas today and Thursday in the usual I-80, I-25 corridor areas. You're going to start to see more lenticular clouds out there. I hate to say this, it does not give me any joy. But we're just into this time of year now where the wind starts to be more of a factor.
Okay. See, I don't mind it when I'm driving, let's say, from Casper down to Cheyenne, and I have a nice tailwind, and I save all of that gas. But then I drive back into that tailwind going back north again, and I use up all of that gas. You see my problem?
But at the end of the day,
yes,
it all evens out. You're going to burn the same amount of gas.
That's all right. Thank you, Don. Don Day with Day Weather. See, all you got to do is give Don a call and, just set these things up in advance. You can usually get it done. Off we go to talk to Frank Gambino, who's over there in South Dakota, right?
South Dakota, yes.
Yes, okay. So here's a story. I don't know if you heard about this. Over there, the UW Cowboys, personal items stolen from a San Jose locker room.
See, now this is, in the past, when Wyoming would travel in football, one of the athletic training staff or the equipment people would always be outside the door of the locker room so no one could get in. Or the visiting or the home school would provide some kind of security at the locker room. So neither of those entities happened, and I want to know why.
Right.
Somebody, because people in like the UW equipment people in the past, they knew that this could happen. They always had someone stationed out there, right by the door or inside. What happened there?
Yeah. Yeah. I picture it in two different ways. One, there's always someone just looking for free stuff, and maybe even some swag from some player, that they really like. But then there's also those people who'd want to steal stuff because they think they can go ahead and sell it, in which case you'd want to get on eBay and other such places, or just find where is somebody selling stolen jerseys and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was mostly personal electronics and stuff like that.
That's what that was?
I will guarantee. Yeah, I will guarantee you this: there'll be a UW equipment person standing at that locker room door for the rest of their lives.
Oh yeah.
For years and years and years, that no one is going to get in that locker room. No one.
Okay.
And that should be the top priority that they're probably already discussed. No one is getting in that locker room that is not authorized to be there. Period. Either you set up your own security or you make sure that the other school has someone out there all the time.
Okay, so according to what you're saying, there's somebody looking for a target of opportunity. Some football players would have left their wallets in there, their cell phones, stuff like that, and somebody's seen an opportunity just to go and grab the stuff and go with no security. I would think that if I were in charge of one of these universities and I have a visiting team, I would provide security for them.
That would make sense, but you'd be surprised how that doesn't happen a lot of times. And then the visiting team actually would provide their own with some of the equipment staff and their student, their students, student helpers. And you know what? This is your job today. You take the first half, someone else takes the second half. No one gets in here.
And if I were
for Wyoming people,
if I were the judge in this case, I would say your punishment is we're going to give you the football and then turn the team loose on you. How about that, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Well, in college football, the woebegone Wyoming Cowboys did lose at San Jose State on Saturday afternoon, 24-14, to drop to a pitiful 1-6 overall, 1-2 in Mountain West Conference play. San Jose State didn't play a great game, but, Wyoming was worse. And the Spartans did turn the ball over 3 times in the first half, and the Cowboys just failed to capitalize with points. As for quarterback Evan Svoboda, he threw a fourth-quarter interception on a screen pass, and we've seen that before. It wasn't very effective, and head coach Jay Sawvell finally benched him in the fourth quarter and gave redshirt freshman Caden Anderson a chance, and he threw 2 interceptions and a TD pass. Matter of fact, now in the game against Utah State this week, both of those quarterbacks will be in there using a platoon system. Cowboy running game non-existent. The Polk defense surrendered nearly 500 yards of offense to the Spartans. Wyoming is just not very good, and they're 1-6, and they will host 1-6 Utah State in the Who Cares Bowl on Saturday night at 5 p.m. at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie. High school football, first in 4A, Sheridan clinched the number 1 seed in the playoffs with a 41-14 win over Campbell County. Sheridan is 8-0, Campbell County 7-1. Cheyenne East is 7-1 after a 36-6 win over Rock Springs. East will play Campbell County this week, and the winner will be the number 2 seed in the playoffs. The loser will be the number 3 seed. Natrona is firm in the number 4 spot after a 62-0 win over hapless Cheyenne South. Cheyenne Central beat Kelly Walsh 24-14, so Central kept their playoff hopes alive at 2-6, and they will be at Natrona this week. The Tribe could finish as high as 6th, finishing depending on other games, or be out of the playoffs. Kelly Walsh is 3-5, and the Trojans will host Rock Springs this week. Kelly Walsh could finish as high as 5th, or could be out. Laramie lost to Thunder Basin 47-14, so the Plainsmen get to 2-6, and they could make the playoffs or be out, depending on other games. In Class 2A, Burns lost to Newcastle 49-14, so Burns is 4-4, and either they'll be the 2nd seed, 3rd seed, or 4th seed from the East in the playoffs. Glen Rock is still winless following a 44-24 loss to Upton Sundance and won a 9-man top-rated Lingleport Laramie over number 2 Pine Bluffs in a great game, 30-27. Pine Bluffs will either be the 2 or the 3 seed from the East in the playoffs and won a 9-man and won a 6-man. Midwest lost on the road to Metuti 53-30, so the Oilers could be in or out of the playoffs depending on this week's action. Same thing goes for KC, who beat Hulen on Saturday 61-52. Casper Christian eliminated from the playoffs with 1 win so far this season, and 6-man they lost on Saturday to number 1 Little Snake River 59-7.
The Who Cares Bowl.
The Who Cares Bowl. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask.
Why would anybody care about 2 teams that are 1-6?
Yeah, okay. I will ask you about that in the next segment. Go take another nap or have breakfast, one or the other.
I think I'll do both, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, have breakfast, take another nap. That sounds perfect if he's way out there like that. Coming up on 8 o'clock, some business we have to take care of, then news time, weather forecast, Wake Up Wyoming.
Wake Up Wyoming goes anywhere you do with the Wake Up Wyoming app. Free download for Apple and Android. This is K2 Radio.
He keeps trying to sway people who traditionally vote Democrat. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Former President Trump's in Miami this morning for an event next hour with Latino leaders.
The former president is really trying to court not just Hispanic voters, but really all minority voters.
Fox's Aisha Hasni in Miami.
This new Suffolk University poll out shows that Trump is actually now leading Harris amongst Latino voters in a head-to-head. He's trailing Harris amongst black voters, but put it in perspective here. He actually got 8% to President Biden's 91% in 2020, so he's doing a whole lot better this year.
Now, that survey shows that Vice President Harris's support among likely black voters is down to 72%. The former president will be holding a rally in North Carolina After 3 events there yesterday, that'll be later today as early in-person voting starts in 4 more states, including Wisconsin, where Vice President Harris was last night.
We love our country, and we believe in the foundational principles that are at stake in this election.
Calling the former president increasingly unstable, she also campaigned in Michigan and Pennsylvania. The former president posted on Truth Social this morning, "We must find the leaker who let American intelligence get out," that appears to detail Israel's plan to retaliate against Iran's missile attack earlier this month.
So the biggest unknown right now is whether the leak of this classified intelligence in any way compromises Israel's reprisal attack plans. The FBI is stepping in to launch an investigation, potentially criminal investigation here in the United States.
Fox's Jillian Turner at the State Department.
Secretary of State Blinken is on the ground in Jerusalem at this moment. He is meeting one-on-one with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It's a bit of a frantic effort on the part of the U.S. administration to try and re-jumpstart those ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas.
It's unclear who's in charge of Hamas days after Israel killed the group's leader. Meanwhile, Iran's president's in Russia for 3 days of talks with the leaders of China, India, and Turkey, all trying to counter American influence in the world. America's listening to Fox News.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free info kit from my friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Birch Gold makes it easy to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait any longer. Protect your financial future now.
Here is the latest from Oil City News on K2 Radio.
The company that wants to mine gravel on state land at the base of Casper Mountain doubts Natrona County has the legal right to block activity on land belonging to the state. On September 17th, the Natrona County Commission voted to amend a zoning rule to effectively block Prism Logistics' attempt to build a gravel pit in the Squaw Creek and Coates Road area at the base of Casper Mountain. On Thursday, Prism struck back. It is suing the commission, asking for a judicial review about the legality of their decision. Prism's attorney, Deborah Roden of Cheyenne, filed the petition in Natrona County District Court. Now, this is the latest in a saga that started in February when Coates Road resident Greg Werger saw earth-moving equipment digging holes on state land next to his house, and he called the Natrona County Sheriff's Office. A deputy came out and told him that Kyle True's Prism Logistics, LLC, had filed notices for limited mining operations. Resistance to True's efforts spread through the spring and into the summer with the creation of the Casper Mountain Preservation Alliance and meetings with the county commissioners. Hundreds of residents shared concerns of environmental impacts, water and air quality, dust, and effects on property values. Opponents of the mine noted the county's criteria for approving a conditional use permit for mining, and they circulated petitions throughout Natrona County, gathering over 18,000 signatures from people against the gravel pit. Now, Prism Logistics wants the Natrona County District Courts to determine whether the commission can do what it did. Put more simply, can Natrona County dictate how the state of Wyoming and its lessees utilize state-owned land? In other news, a Casper man will spend 20 years behind bars for sexually abusing 5 children. However, the 5 children and their families and their friends will live with sentences for the rest of their lives due to the damage that James Maxwell Bright caused them. The victims, some of whom were babysat by Bright, told the court that he damaged their trust, faith, and physical and mental health. The investigation began in September of 2018 when sheriffs were notified of a girl who claimed Bright was doing inappropriate things to her. Subsequent reports and investigations led to a 23-count criminal information document that was filed on August 21st last year. The counts included lesser charges for singular alleged incidents. In April, Bright entered an Alford plea to 5 counts, 1 for each victim. Criminal defendants enter Alford pleas when they do not admit guilt, but are nevertheless pleading guilty as part of a bargain. Prosecuting attorney Brandon Rosti said that parents placed their trust in him, and he betrayed that trust again and again, adding that Bright has taken no accountability nor shown any remorse for the abuse of the victims starting in 2008 and ending in 2022. And quickly, the former Village Inn in Central Casper is on track to reopen as a Dickey's barbecue pit in the coming weeks. It's located at 325 South Durban Street. The new location has undergone an extensive gut rehab and exterior renovation, which had sat vacant for months after the Village Inn closed without warning in October last year. Reporting in Casper, this is Colby Fedor.
Stay warm with Wyoming Insulation. Whether it's bats, blow-in, or spray foam, locally owned and operated with free estimates. Visit wyinsulation.com. Gusty winds, low 60s today. Brisk winds, low 30s tonight. Sunny, breezy, mid to upper 60s Wednesday. Wednesday night and Thursday, windy and colder. 30s Wednesday night, highs only low 50s Thursday. Wednesday night, Thursday could bring a passing shower. Back to dry, cool weather near 60 Friday.
Six the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. It is Tuesday, which doesn't suck like Monday.
Today's show is sponsored by Osculation Rejuvenation. For when the hits the fan.
Always make sure you're on the proper side of the fan.
Warning, this show contains reference to guns, liberty, limited government, low taxation, the cult of climate change, free thinking, cigar smoking, short people, rubber chickens, Karen's bureaucracy, liberal buzzwords, tour runs, traffic, toilets, terrible jokes, and more. No apologies will be issued. Guest callers may express any opinion they want without fear of being canceled. Unless you're a loudmouth jerk like Dave, then Glenn will hang up on you. Strap in, hold on to your coffee, and feel free to participate.
This disclaimer does not refer to every person named Dave, just one particular Dave from San Francisco. We know a lot of Daves. They call this show all the time, and they're great people. So don't call this program and complain that we use your name. That would be a real Dave move, Dave.
Okay, several things I have to pick on, and you'll find me topic hopping just a little bit, but within the same genre. Does that make sense? Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we're living in the end times.
So put on your respirator, and let's fix that generator. While we're out, we'll mend our fences too. See, I'm not afraid of dying, just got reasons for surviving. I want one more day in the apocalypse with you.
So let's take a look at, first off, the president of Ford wants to make electric cars profitable within the next few years and is struggling to do so. And I look at that and think, maybe you need to go back and take a look at what your great-grandfather, whichever, Henry Ford did. Because originally automobiles were only for very rich people. And every automobile was made by a team of people individually. So, made it very expensive. It was Ford that decided, if we made this assembly line thing, I could greatly reduce the cost. And the automobile would be affordable to everybody. And so as prices have gotten out of hand, not just for regular automobiles, because they keep packing so many bells and whistles in them, I'm often looking for a vehicle that doesn't have – I love today's technology. Don't get me wrong. I love today's technology. It's incredible what cars can do these days. But it gets so expensive that if I was looking for – I usually buy slightly used – but if I was even looking for a new car, I would be looking for one that has the fewest gadgets in it as possible just to bring down the cost. And electric cars are, even with the subsidies and tax breaks, most of them are way out of range of the average buyer. So Ford's trying to find a way to make that affordable. Well, go take a cue from the way Ford Motors started in the first place. Got to go back to basics on this. And one of the things I would say to do is get rid of the electric motor. That's one of your biggest problems. But also all the other toys that you put inside there. Just start scaling that stuff back, and you can finally get to an automobile that people would afford. Also, make sure to build an automobile that people want, not one that government's trying to force on people. But find out what the consumer wants in an automobile and provide that, and sales will be great. So rather than telling customers you need an electric vehicle, no, ask the customer, what do you want? And when the customer explains, I'm looking for a vehicle that can do this, then give them that at a price that they can afford. There you go. That's how you stay in business. Not by telling customers, you need to buy this. And we're going to make sure that you are driving one of these. That's not what customers want out there. All right, next one. I came across an interesting story. I didn't know this was being a thing. Let's go to Yellowstone. Yellowstone National Park, NASA was working on an idea. Imagine being able to tap into the geothermal properties of Yellowstone. This has been discussed before, right? Now, some of it, the cult of climate change and all of that, right? But then some, and there's a story I wrote up, including a video that goes with it, which is on the Wake Up Wyoming site this morning. If you have the app, you can find it real quick. And there's a video that goes with this that talks about the energy that's available will be available for a very, very, very long time. I mean, a long time. So that's great. It's just energy that's just there. This thermal energy under Yellowstone will be there for a long time. Then some NASA scientists say, well, if we're slowly drawing off some of that geothermal energy, then the likelihood of Yellowstone erupting anytime soon goes down because we're constantly drawing off that energy. In which case I looked at it and thought, hold on. I had done a story, which I updated in the story that I have on the Wake Up Wyoming site this morning, where there's scientists who are saying, don't worry about Yellowstone anytime soon. The geologists, they're looking at it going, it's not going to blow anytime soon. All right. But still the idea of, hey, let's tap into the thermal properties of Yellowstone and make energy. Now, Yellowstone, it's been suggested over time, hey, let's go ahead and dam up the area and we can get hydropower out of there. And that's been rejected. There's coal, gas, and oil in there. I know there may even be rare earth minerals. I don't know. Let's not. Nope, it's Yellowstone. We're going to leave it alone. Let's tap into the geothermal and make electricity out of that. And some NASA scientists saying, do you realize how long we could do that at Yellowstone? Because that's going to be there for a very long time. And to us, that's just free energy there. But right away, people will come along and say, yeah, but it's Yellowstone, so don't. So it's an interesting story as the debate goes back and forth, but I'm siding with those scientists who are saying, based on what geologists have found, they don't think Yellowstone's going to go anytime soon, which means any day now is probably what that means. Hello, Ken's in Cheyenne. Why aren't they pushing the hybrid propulsion like the Toyota Prius? Well, there is a little bit of that going on. There is a push for hybrid vehicles since a lot of people don't like the idea of getting rid of the gasoline automobile for a lot of good reasons. But still, there are those who would like to have you driving an electric vehicle. And so one of the solutions has been, well, what if we go hybrid? Now, I do remember when when they first came out, there were problems. There was many people that I knew driving a hybrid like a Prius, and they were thinking that they were going to get a really good deal. Look how much I'm saving in gasoline. Yet the price of the automobile plus the price to replace those batteries every so often far outweighed. It wasn't worth it. They weren't saving any money. In fact, it was costing them more money. So the original hybrid vehicles weren't doing that well. Now, today's hybrid vehicles do a whole lot better, way better. Yet I'm still curious as to, are they better than just having an internal combustion engine? In fact, from what I've seen so far, still, your best way to go, and I'm not interested in the whole idea of, wow, we have to save the planet from CO2. That's garbage. That's nonsense. But if you really do want something that is environmentally friendly and will last you a good long time, just get a basic automobile with not a lot of bells and whistles, okay, and drive it till the wheels fall off. There. Now you're doing a lot of good for your wallet and the environment at the same time. And again, CO2 is not a pollutant, so don't worry about that. Hey, you in Marbleton, you can still go to a car dealership and order the car you want. Again, I just don't want all sorts of bells and whistles in my. In fact, I'll talk a little bit more about that next, but see if you guys are with me. I just don't want all sorts of bells and whistles in there. Greg from Cheyenne, I want a half-ton pickup with a bench seat, hand crank driver window, wing vents, real gauges. I don't need all the fancy gadgets. Let's talk about that next.
I have a joke for you.
Okay.
The government is excellent and uses your tax dollars efficiently.
Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods on K2 Radio. Join the conversation at 888-97-WOODS.
8:20 is the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. So let's review here real quick. So the president of Ford Motor Company said he wants to, in the next few years, make electric cars profitable. Okay. Apparently forgot what got Ford Motors started in the first place, which was immediately, the Model T was profitable right away because it was something that people wanted and built in a way that was affordable to them. So you mean after all of these years of government subsidies and tax breaks, they still can't make an affordable car? And for that matter, make one that people want. Well, at this point, it's a fail, so just let it go. I mean, you should be able to make something affordable that people want. Right now, before I get into some of the other comments here, Rick in Cheyenne says, morning, Glenn. Hey, so what about Taco John's and Taco Bell doing a collaboration on the fart car? Oh, yeah.
America is facing an ongoing energy crisis. As oil gets scarcer, gasoline gets more expensive, and the planet suffers. Electric cars? Most of their electricity comes from coal-fired plants or nuclear reactors. So what's the answer? How about a car that's good-looking, affordable, and runs on clean, environmentally responsible natural gas? Your natural gas. Introducing the Flatula Backfire. It runs like the wind because it's running on wind. Here's how it works. Using state-of-the-art sanitary technology, Flatula captures all your emissions and efficiently channels them directly to a powerful turbocharged engine. It's clean energy, green energy, and best of all, it's renewable. The Backfire's range is practically unlimited, but if you should happen to run low, don't worry. You're never too far from a Flatula authorized service center, where trained, qualified providers stand ready to fill your tank with the gas that's right for your driving needs. Flatula Backfire. It's not just a smart car, it's the fart car.
I think that's probably the way to go. But getting cars more affordable again. All right, let me back up and do it again. They've spent years now, government has spent years, and not just federal government, even local government, with tax breaks and subsidies to get electric cars produced and to you. And even with that, they're unaffordable to most people. Prices have come down a bit, but they're still very unaffordable and also in many ways just undesirable. So what is the business model that works? Well, go out and ask people. Don't tell people what they're going to drive. That doesn't work. Everybody's going to drive an electric car. I don't want one. If you do, go buy one. I do see, even here in Wyoming, occasionally I pass an electric car. If that's what they want, they should buy it. But what about those of us who don't want one? It's not going to work to try to force something on us that we don't want. So what you do, Ford, if you would like a successful company again, after billions, Ford has lost billions of dollars in trying to push the whole electric vehicle thing. So ask us what we want and give us that. Now, to that, Greg in Cheyenne says, I want a half-ton pickup with a bench seat, hand crank driver window, wing vents, real gauges. I don't need all of that fancy gadget electronics. Okay. And I think, honestly, that should still be built for you if that's what you would like. All right. Now, I do know they're going to more and more electronic stuff, and that's okay. There are some things about new vehicles, fuel injection and so on. Today's vehicles are actually much better than vehicles from many years ago. as far as fuel efficiency, how long the engines last, the reliability. We've made a lot of strides in the internal combustion engine to make it an engine that really does work. But again, all of the gadgets, oftentimes when I go, and I'm not looking for a new car. The one I have was made in 2005. It has a millennial anti-theft device. It's a stick shift, which I like. Now, the windows are power windows, okay, but I don't really have anything modern in there as far as anything else goes. I don't have a modern computer screen for navigation or anything like that, and I'm fine with it. And I will drive this vehicle until the wheels fall off because it's paid for. It saves me money, right? And so I don't need to go buy something new. But let's say at some point this car were to die, and I'm going to go looking for something new. What am I looking for? Well, I'm going to go back to I would like to have something more basic. I don't mind if they put, because today, forget your old radio system like you used to have, your cassette player, your DVD, I was about to say DVD player, CD player. Oh, your 8-track. Remember that? Okay, I don't need all that. But I know I'm going to get one of those computer screens that can operate the apps on my phone and navigation and stuff like that, and that's fine. That's okay, because that doesn't actually cost as much as you might think. But I don't need all of the other gadgets that they want to put in the vehicle. If you like that stuff, pay for it. It's your money. You go ahead and pay for it. But I'm with Dave Ramsey, who does a program on the radio stations that carry this program. Dave Ramsey will say if you have to do payments on a car, you can't afford the car. Now, one of the things, I put this in my book, The Uncomplicated Life. I realized at a young age that buying a car was very difficult in the sense that I borrow money and I'm not only paying for the car, but I'm paying interest on the payments that I'm making as well, right? And how much I owe. So what if instead I put money into an account, faithfully pay myself money into an account every month? That way at some point when I need a car, I've already been making car payments to myself in an interest-bearing account, and then I can go buy something. And what I tend to go looking for is something not old, but a bit older, that doesn't have all the bells and whistles, which saves me a ton of money. So let's get back to my original point. So the current president of Ford Motor wants to find a way to make electric vehicles profitable, which means he doesn't know how to make a profit. If he wants to make vehicles profitable, he has to find out what customers want and how to make it affordable to them as best he can, and then play to that market. And if everybody out there want electric cars, then that's what he'll make. If everybody out there wants hybrid vehicles, then that's what he makes. If everybody, or pretty much everybody, wants the internal combustion engine, then that's what he'll make. And make it in such a way that people have a choice. Do you want all of the bells and whistles? Here you go. I remember when the Ford Mustang first came out. What did you want? Did you want the basic Mustang, which didn't have a whole lot going on in it, but it was a nice-looking vehicle? Or you could have the middle version of it with a few more gadgets and so on, more expensive. Or you could have the fully loaded Mustang, which was really going to be expensive. And there are a lot of vehicles that do that, but as far as I'm concerned, not as much as it used to be. They're trying to jam in so many gadgets into vehicles these days, which drives up the cost. In the long run, I think that really hurts vehicle sales and vehicle quality, too. Quit screwing around with subsidies from your federal government, who is trying to push a certain kind of car on the American people, which most American people don't want to drive. Give the customer what they want. Hello, Smalls. Smalls and Casper, do not read this on air. Okay, I will not read this on air. I'll read it during the news and information break. And by the way, open with that. Some people send me a text message, and the last thing they say is, do not read this on air. If you don't want me to read it on air, do what Smalls just did. Open with that, and I won't read it on the air. Coming up on 8:30, Wake Up Wyoming.
TV Friday.
He's not a politician, but his pants are on fire. Could someone grab an extinguisher? Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods.
8:36 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Got me thinking, since we're talking about those electric cars that are being mandated, or they're trying to mandate, and even Ford is trying to figure out how to make them profitable. Well, if they're not by now, they're not going to be. I mean, especially after all the subsidies and tax breaks and all these years gone by, and you're still not profitable, hang it up already. But all right. What else I started thinking about? Has government started working on for you, because your best interest in mind, and to make sure that we're saving energy and saving the planet and all that. So government decided to improve your washer and dryer at home. We're going to make them more energy efficient, and they're going to save not just electricity, but save water. And how has that worked out? Yeah, many people, especially those people who have the kind of jobs, or kids for that matter, where their clothes get really filthy, they have to run it through the cycle more than once. That's been a major complaint. They're not getting our clothes clean. We have to do the cycle more than once. How is that saving us anything? Then, let's put the clothes in the dryer, and the dryer doesn't do what it's really supposed to do, so they have to run it for a longer time in the dryer. How is that saving electricity? Okay, so you didn't save any water or electricity with the washer. You're not saving any electricity with the dryer. Now let's go do that with the dishwasher too. Well, that was really efficient. And then what about refrigerators? I would like a basic refrigerator that just keeps things cold. That's it. I don't need to get fancy. Now, for those of you who like to, okay, but I always there's some refrigerators that have video screens on them that connect to the internet. If that's what you want, you go buy one. I don't want one of those. But refrigerators are not that efficient anymore because they try to make them efficient and force them on us. And by the way, it's not just government. Oftentimes, it's the manufacturers of these things that have been trying to sell a more expensive model, and you don't want to buy them. So they end up lobbying Congress to make it a mandate that these are the ones that have to be purchased, that you have to buy those. And it's really not what people want. People would like, in some cases, to have something simple. People don't always want to buy the most expensive thing. In many cases, people would like to buy the most efficient thing. So your washer, your dryer, your refrigerator, there's all sorts of other things as well. Getting rid of the incandescent light bulb drove me nuts when that happened. Should be my decision what kind of light bulb I'd like in my house. Freeman76 is in Cheyenne. He says, "Morning, Glenn. I was wondering if you've heard about or seen in your travels any of the anti-MAGA stickers and political buttons being put up on traffic signs. I've got pictures of a few. I haven't seen any at all. Really, I haven't seen. In fact, I've only seen, in driving around a little bit, especially in the state of Wyoming, I've seen a few Harris Waltz signs in yards. A very few. Other than that, I really haven't seen any. And by the way, let me ask you this, Freeman, just as long as we're talking about it. I've seen a few Harris Waltz stickers or signs in yards, but I really don't see, much like the same thing with Biden. Did you see any Biden hats or T-shirts or people who were... I mean, when Obama came around, there was a cult of Obama. They really built up something around him. It wasn't true. It wasn't accurate, but they really built up something around Obama. So there were Obama fans. People were wearing T-shirts and hats and all sorts of other things because they really had built up something around him. Again, it was fake, but they did. Did you see any of that for Biden? Didn't see any of that for Harris. Okay. And much like both when Hillary, Biden, and Harris ran for office, they really have a tough time drawing a crowd. They will get people to vote for them, but where's the really enthusiastic crowd? Right. Which tells you that people have voted for Hillary, and they voted for Biden, and they will go ahead and vote for Harris. because those people are not Trump. So you can see what they're actually doing. They'll vote for a bag of hammers enthusiastically, as long as it's not Trump. So you see what's going on. I really haven't seen a whole lot in enthusiastic swag for Harris because they just love her so much. She's just not Trump. I've seen, I would bet there's a lot of anti-Trump stuff out there. But where's the pro-Harris stuff? All right. Back real quicker to what I was talking about a moment ago with what's in your house. Let's take a look at some things. Is phones working, Jones? Not today. Jones and Casper. Is phones working? Not today, but we will have them back up and running tomorrow. But you can text me like you're doing right now. So, okay, let's take a look at some of the items that are around your... one of my favorites to pick on. Your government decided a while ago, and this is something that drives me nuts, to fix your gas cans. For those people who need a gas can, for your lawnmower, or a lot of people who work out in the fields, in ranching and farming and so on, you need those gas cans, right? So your government decided to make a more efficient and safer gas can. And how did that work? Yeah, there are people now who sell. I've seen commercials on television for this. I've seen it for quite a few years, where you can go ahead and buy a gas can in the store, and it's going to come with that government-approved nozzle that doesn't work. But you're going to have to buy that no matter what. Now, you can take that off and just throw it away. And you can buy the old-fashioned nozzle. You're going to have to screw a hole in the back to let air flow through, but they have, and with a little cap for that too. That comes with the set. But yeah, you can, if you've seen the commercials for this, you can go ahead and buy a fix-it for the government-approved gas can to get the old kind of gas thing on there. Because that's government fixing stuff for you. They broke your gas can, they broke your refrigerator, they broke your washer and dryer for your clothes, they broke your dishwasher. And they're doing the same thing essentially with air conditioning at home. Okay. They're doing the same thing with your car. Every time your government comes along and says, we're going to make things more efficient and also less expensive. Oh, same thing with just electricity in general. They keep telling you, electricity is going to be clean, green, affordable, reliable, sustainable. And so they're working on that with government-subsidized programs like wind and solar. And how's that working? It's not clean, it's not green, it's not affordable, it's not reliable, it's not sustainable. Your electricity prices keep going up. And they keep telling you your electricity prices are going to go down. This stuff is more affordable. That's not what's happening, is it? All right. There's Freeman again. Thanks for your reply. I enjoy listening to you and appreciate your fairness. Semper Fi. Oh, you served. Thank you, Freeman. Appreciate that. Okay, so here's what I would like to get back to, and this is where we need to start electing people that will do this. I would like to get government out of the decision-making process when it comes to what consumers want. It is none of government's business, even for that matter, getting rid of gas stoves. Remember that whole dust-up, which they still would like to do. Okay, if you want a gas stove, it's your house. When you go to buy a vehicle to drive, it's your call. It's your money, it's your call. Make a wise decision. When you buy appliances for your house, that's your call. Even when electricity is produced to run things in your home, electric companies should be allowed to produce electricity in the most affordable, reliable way that's possible without government interference. Because you see what happens when the government does interfere. 8:45, it's Wake Up Wyoming.
What's your biggest ick in a guy? Probably when they drive like a Tesla or any type of electric car. Why? I don't know. I'm not really like into feminine guys. You know, like they need to be masculine. And it's feminine to drive a Tesla? It's not very manly like when your car doesn't make any noise.
The best in the state, within his price range. Tune in to Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods, weekdays at 6.
8:49 is the time. Wake Up Wyoming. Off to the phones today because Frank is out there having a good time over in South Dakota. Okay, Frank. So I have to ask you about this bowl game that's coming up, which is, what are you calling it? The Boring Bowl? The Snooze Bowl?
No, the Who Cares?
The Who Cares Bowl. Okay. So they're just that bad, huh?
Yes. Wyoming is 1-6.
Right.
And Utah State, who they're playing, is 1-6.
Oh.
So, I mean, it used to be like, who cares? So
Okay.
here in its reality, Wyoming's fan base is very spread out.
Right.
You know, Denver, Colorado, you know, Cheyenne, Rawlins, Casper, and beyond. You're asking people to almost the vast majority of them to travel to Laramie to go to the game, and it's
Right.
at 5:00. Why would you do that?
Yeah, okay.
If you're watching two teams that are 1-6, they're not giving the beer away for free. I can tell you that right now.
Well, and for that matter, and I'm not trying to bring all of this down, but okay, for that matter, when it doesn't matter if UW wins or not, like you said, who cares?
Right. If they win, that means, okay, wow, you beat a 1-6 team. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
And if you lose, then everyone's like, well, you're even worse than what we thought you were.
Okay.
So, and then, you know, on TV, it's easy because you can just kind of watch at home, you know, and like, all right, just, you know, you're in your own living room or at the bar or something, you know, but to go to the game, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think many
there's
people
other
would want
things
to. Yeah, I don't think many people would want to watch it in the first place. But that's not to say that nobody will show up, because there's still people who like the camaraderie of the game.
I understand that, but your casual, your season ticket holders, obviously, you're going to go, and your hardcore fans are going to go, but your casual fans, they ain't going.
Okay. Well, at least you get to figure out who sucks more. I mean,
right. Okay. High school football, first in 4A. Sheridan clinched the number 1 seed in the playoffs with a 41-14 win over Campbell County. Sheridan is 8-0, Campbell County 7-1. Cheyenne East is 7-1 after a 36-6 win over Rock Springs. East will play Campbell County this week, and the winner will be the number 2 seed in the 4A playoffs, and the loser will be the number 3 seed. Natrona is firm in the 4 spot after a 62-0 win over hapless Cheyenne South. Cheyenne Central beat Kelly Walsh 24-14, so Central kept their playoff hopes alive at 2-6. They'll be at Natrona this week. The Tribe could finish as high as 6th, depending on other games, or be out of the playoffs. Kelly Walsh is 3-5, and the Trojans will host Rock Springs this week. Kelly Walsh could finish as high as 5th or be out of the playoffs. Laramie lost to Thunder Basin 47-14, so the Plainsmen are 2-6, and they could make the playoffs or be out, depending on other games. In 2A, Burns lost to Newcastle 49-14, so Burns will either be the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th seed from the East in the 3A playoffs. Glen Rock is still winless on the year in 2A, following a 44-24 loss to Upton Sundance. In 1A 9-man, top-rated Lingleport Laramie edged number 2 Pine Bluff 30-27. Pine Bluff will either be the 2 or 3 seed from the East in the 1A 9-man playoffs. In 1A 6-man, Midwest lost on the road to Matiti 53-30, so the Oilers could be out of the playoffs, depending on this week's action. The same thing goes for KC, who beat Hewlett on Saturday 61-52. Casper Christian with 1 win in 6-man lost big to number 1 Little Snake River 59-6, and the Casper Christian has been eliminated from the playoff picture. And in college football, the Wyoming Cowboys did lose at San Jose State on Saturday afternoon 24-14 to drop to a pitiful 1-6 overall and 1-2 in Mountain West play. San Jose State wasn't great by any stretch, but Wyoming was worse. And then the Spartans turned the ball over 3 times in the first half, and the Cowboys just failed to capitalize. You got to get points out of those turnovers. As for quarterback Evan Swoboda, he hasn't been very productive at all this year and threw a brutal fourth-quarter interception on a screen pass, and we've seen that before. Head coach Jay Sawvell finally benched him, and redshirt freshman Caden Anderson got a chance and threw 2 interceptions with a TD pass. This week, Anderson and Swoboda will be splitting time in a platoon system against Utah State, and the Cowboys' running game was absolutely non-existent over the weekend, and the defense surrendered close to 500 yards of offense. So Wyoming 1-6 will host 1-6 Utah State on Saturday in Laramie at the 5 p.m. kickoff. We'll have it for you on KT Radio and KOWB in Laramie, and it is, yes, the Who Cares Bowl.
How is the injury list right about now?
Well, it's probably Wyoming has had an inordinate amount, and that's part of this deal. So I mean, if guys, hopefully they can get some guys back, and now that Wyatt Eckler, he had an interception, he had 2 broken thumbs, he had 2 clubs on his hand basically that wrapped up so much, and he had an interception. It was incredible, So they're not completely 100% inept, but they're just not very good.
Well, according to DJ Wildfree and Mills, go see the Western Thunder. The band is the best at the UW game. Well, there's a reason to go.
Oh yeah, they're really good.
Yeah,
really
Tom.
good. They may be the highlight of the game.
Yeah. Let them play. Thank you, Frank. Coming up on some local business we got to take care of. We're going to roll into news time after that, and then weather forecast, and you and me. It's Wake Up Wyoming.
Friday.
.06 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. It's a Tuesday, which arguably does not suck as much as Monday.
Today's show is sponsored by Osculation Rejuvenation. For when the hits the fan.
It is always important to remember to stand on the proper side of fan. Much like when liberals say you need to be on the right side of history, which is a statement that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But you do need to be on the right side of the fan.
Warning, this show contains reference to guns, liberty, limited government, low taxation, the cult of climate change, free thinking, cigar smoking, short people, rubber chickens, Karen's bureaucracy, liberal buzzwords, tour runs, traffic, toilets, terrible jokes, and more. No apologies will be issued. Guest callers may express any opinion they want without fear of being canceled. Unless you're a loudmouth jerk like Dave, then Glenn will hang up on you. Strap in, hold on to your coffee, and feel free to participate.
This disclaimer does not refer to every person named Dave, just one particular Dave from San Francisco. We know a lot of Daves. They call this show all the time, and they're great people. So don't call this program and complain that we use your name. That would be a real Dave move, Dave.
This next story is going to make you mad, but, you know, a lot of news does these days, so we'll just go ahead and get into it. A veteran, yes, a military veteran, allegedly forced to change out of an offensive T-shirt before getting on an airplane. Now, right away, you got to ask yourself, what does the offensive T-shirt say? Here's the story. On the 16th of this month, Catherine Banks, a Marine Corps veteran, boarded a Delta Airlines flight at San Francisco International Airport. So consider where she is. She's in San Francisco. These are the people who are offended by everything. And before I get further into the story, let's remind everybody, well, and for those who didn't hear it earlier today, I found a perfect song for those who are offended by everything, which I think I'm just going to add to my repertoire.
Seems like these days, no matter what you say, someone's losing their ever-loving mind. It's like they're looking for a reason to have their fragile feelings hurt every single time. My country truck, I gas it up. You got your fancy Tesla hooked up to a plug. I know you're mad, you think I'm bad, 'cause I'm breathing free at last and you're still stuck behind your mask and I'm offended. Come on now, you're offended. Let's all get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer, we can sit down right here, screaming, yelling, cussing, fussing, fine.
You're offended by every little thing out there. So, okay, let's get into the story. There's this person, Marine Corps veteran she is, and she's at an airport in San Francisco. And just because she's a Marine Corps veteran, that's going to offend people in San Francisco anyway. On her way back to visit her sister, who's an active duty member of the Marine Corps, so they both are. According to KNTV, flight attendant told Banks that she could not board the airplane because of her offensive T-shirt. She was told she had to change into a sweatshirt or something like that right there on the ramp so nobody could see what the T-shirt had to say. Quote, I said, are you kidding me? I'm a Marine Corps vet. I'm going to see my Marine sister. I've been in the Marine Corps for 22 years. God bless the woman. Worked for the Air Force for 15 years. I'm going to visit her. I don't care about your service. I don't care about, I just want to take it off right now. Not only was the flight delayed, causing Banks to miss her connection, but she also said the crew forced her to sit in the back of the plane instead of the seat she paid for. I would be suing someone at this time. So what did the shirt say that apparently so triggered the flight attendant? It read, "Do not give in to the war within. End veteran suicide." You want to read that again? Because I know at this point you're not believing the story. The T-shirt read, "Do not give in to the war within. End veteran suicide." Yeah, okay. So why in the world would they say that that is triggering in some way, that that's offensive in some way? I would like to know. And what I'm waiting to see in this story, there's some more to this. At the same, the guy who's writing the story, my wife ran into a couple after a social event, went out for a nightcap. The woman was wearing a MAGA hat. Not the big red variety, but an understated cap that said "Make America Great Again." We're having our drinks, chatting, when yet another young woman seemingly materialized from, throwing a tantrum over the hat in question. I was annoyed to tell her and told her to stop believing everything she was spoon-fed by the media, et cetera, et cetera. But here's where, I've seen this before. You've probably seen it yourself. Someone's just wearing a red baseball cap. Nothing on it. Or maybe a logo for something else, but not "Make America Great Again." But it's a red baseball cap, and by God, it's going to make some people on the left. She read. So, okay. Let me see. Go back to, Wilson Smith, 1984. I'm looking, there's some more stories that he has here with people being offended by every little thing. And you can't do that, and you can't wear that. Well, okay. Let's go back to, if I could, the Marine getting on the airplane with basically a shirt that says "End veteran suicide." I don't see how that's offensive to anyone. If I were in that position, and I'll wait to see if I come up with a story, if I find a story where it says this person's going to sue, I'll let you know. Or at least make sure that the airline gets some really bad publicity, or maybe at least the flight attendant or attendants are dealt with in some way. You can't wear that. That's offensive. And how so? This is one of those things where if you want my business, I'll be happy to go with another airline. I'm going to get my refund. And by the way, I'm going to talk to your boss about your job because you did that. Now, I don't know about you. I see things all the time which I don't agree with. But and I might even look and go, "Oh, my God, really? You're wearing that? What an idiot." I might think that sometimes. But I never say anything to the person because they're in America. And they have the right to think what they want to think and say what they want to say. And if they want to wear something that I disagree with, then I'll just disagree with it. And I'm not going to go throw some fit. And there's the problem. That some people have to get so mad that they have to go throw a fit over it. There's the problem there. If you want to live in a free country, and every side of the argument, left, right, whatever, will tell you that they're for freedom and liberty and freedom of speech and et cetera, et cetera. If you really want to live in a free country, it takes a certain level of maturity to do it. And that means you're going to see some things and you're going to hear some things that are offensive to you. And you're just going to have to learn to deal.
Jenkins! Yes, sir? Yes, sir?
Jenkins, I have an idea.
I'm afraid already, sir.
I want to open up a restaurant chain with the lowest cost overhead ever.
Oh, sir, that's nearly impossible in today's economy, and most new restaurants fail. You know that.
Locate each restaurant chain in the middle of wind farms. Then we serve fresh bird kill.
Wow! That really does cut costs. But won't PETA try to shut us down?
Oh, they can't object, because all the food is provided by green and sustainable energy.
And since a lot of endangered birds are killed by wind turbines, you can say your menu is full of rare delicacies.
I see no downside to this.
Except that you can only be open when the wind is blowing, or you won't have fresh kill or power to cook it.
We can always have diesel backup generators to turn turn the turbines when the wind isn't blowing.
Sir, I really think this idea will finally lead this company into bankruptcy.
Oh, no. You see, since we're running on wind power and serving endangered species, we can apply for unlimited grants and subsidies. Who cares if we have any customers at all?
And I bet you're planning to staff the place with illegal immigrants.
Yes, and recent college graduates who can find a job to fit their degrees. Now, how much do you think we'll get from the feds?
Sir, we're going to be rich.
What do you mean, we?
Polish off that tin hat. You'll need it for this one. Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods. Available on demand on the Wake Up Wyoming app.
9:21's the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. All right, so next up. Boy, I've had a lot of stuff. I've been jumping all over the place. I know topic-wise today. That's okay. Cowboy State Daily Story. Well, sometimes there's just a lot to go through. Hundreds of Wyoming coal jobs threatened by federal regulations, legislators say. Now, we already know this, but here's the latest. State Representative Cyrus Western Republican Bighorn, concerned about the future of southern Montana coal mine that employs hundreds of Wyoming people, that could have its available coal cut in half under a proposed revision to its environmental impact statement by the federal government. Here's yet another way to shut down coal mines. Just revise something. The mine is owned by the Navajo Transitional Energy Company, which operates two other Wyoming mines in the Wyoming Powder River Basin. The story says the Office of Surface Mining Reclamation and Enforcement, also known as OSMR, wants to modify the environmental impact statement for the company's Spring Creek mine in Decker, Montana, about 32 miles north of Sheridan. The coal mine has produced about 9.7 million tons of coal so far and employs about 265 people, many of whom live in Wyoming, drive over the border and to work and come back. The company's current lease gives it access to 152 million tons of coal through 2038, and it wants to expand the mine's footprint to get additional 40 million tons of coal. But the feds say the project would be very detrimental to its current and future operations. There's also no action plan, et cetera, et cetera. So here's bureaucracy getting in the way once again. See, here's all your government really has to do. It's really all they have to do. These guys want to go after coal. Go after coal. That's fine. Nothing wrong with burning it, as long as we burn it in a clean way, which we do in the United States. So go ahead, go for the coal. Just make sure that you reclaim it properly, which we do in Wyoming. And I've done this before. I know we've talked about this before on the air, but I've actually done this. I'm up in Campbell County at one point. And I was talking to someone about coal mining who had this picture in their mind that you guys open pit mine. And yeah, we do. Do you think that they're just destroying the landscape out here? And they did. And what gets me, if you've never been to an open pit mine, I would say go. Because there's these trucks. The whole trucks they have are about the size of a small house. And I mean that literally. And they get way down to the bottom of the pit, and they're like a little Tonka toy, the way they look down there. Yet, as the mine continues extracting all of that coal, they reclaim as they go. So I've done this on a couple of occasions, driven someone out to an area in Campbell County and pointed to one side of the highway, then the other. And I said, one side has been mined and reclaimed, the other side hasn't been mined at all. Can you tell which? And their answer is no. Now, I can tell. The way I can tell is nature isn't that neat and tidy. When the coal company puts everything back, they tend to put bushes and so on out there and grasses in a nice, neat, tidy way. Mother Nature is not neat and tidy like that. So that's the only way I can tell. All right, so the story says, with the future of the mine and hundreds of local workers on the line, Western, the company, has sent a letter to OSMR urging the agency to support the proposal. It also says the only option that comports with existing federal and state regulatory permits, notably, they failed to acknowledge its so-called alternative and false options that are entirely unfeasible. So in other words, Don't give us options that are not feasible to us. Give us solutions here so we can get to work. Moreover, the company says the mine wouldn't be able to comply with the existing state environmental permits and federal royalty requirements. They're trying to shut the mines down. For a radical version of existing mine plans, they would basically cut the tonnage in half. So if these new and this is just taking a look at old regulations and deciding we're going to do this in a new way, and it cuts what they're able to mine out in half. This, once again, is government getting in the way of people who are just trying to do business in a legitimate business, trying to shut down the coal company. In the meantime, worldwide, we're using more coal than ever before. We're not using less. We're using more coal than ever before worldwide. So once again, wouldn't it be nice to have a president and a Congress in charge who understands to get rid of these regulations and let's get back to work again? So let me see. Well, the story goes on. It's Cowboy State Daily story, and it goes on a little bit between the dispute between the government agency and the company who's out there just trying to do business. But realize, of course, coal, natural gas, things like that, petroleum, that are having a problem in the United States right now are not having a problem because of natural market forces. Now, I remember a few years back, and coal did hit a problem point, but it was for a natural market reason. It was because natural gas suddenly was a whole lot cheaper than coal. A lot cheaper, which is okay. And so natural gas was taking a bite out of the coal industry. That's a natural market force, and I'm entirely in favor of that. Yes, it hurt the coal industry a bit. Yes, there were even some layoffs at some of the mines in Campbell County, Wyoming. But that's okay, because it was for a natural market reason, and it was not because government came along and decided to try to shut down an industry, which is what's happening right now. So again, we can change this. It depends on who we elect into office next time around. Jones and Casper, see Liz Cheney with Harris. What a pathetic pair. Yeah, I talked about that, Jones, earlier this morning, that Liz Cheney is actually now saying that we should vote for Harris because Harris will honor the Constitution and Trump won't. Now, I would like you to go back and take a look at Harris's record of not just what she's done or hasn't done, but what she's said over the years, and tell me how that woman honors and plans to enforce the Constitution. I'll show you exactly where she hasn't, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I think at this point, Liz Cheney's lost her mind, honestly. Coming up on some local business that we have to take care of, we're going to roll into news time after that, national, local. Oh, wait a second now. Local news. Update on the weather forecast. You and I get back into it again. Let's Wake Up Wyoming.
Friday. If it matters in Wyoming, it matters to Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods. Call Glenn at 888-97-WOODS and make your voice heard. AM 1030, K2 Radio.
9:36 the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Because people tend to tune in and out during different times of the day, I'm going to bring this up probably tomorrow again because it's really worth it. And it's getting kind of late in the show. I want to spend more time on this. Here's from CNN Business. Yeah, I monitor all sorts. I even monitor MSNBC. I just kind of go over there. What are they doing? MSNBC was having a field day with Trump serving at McDonald's, which was hysterical. But okay, from CNN Business, the hottest trend in executive leadership for companies today. Bring back the white guy. This is a CNN article. It says, listen up, corporate boards. If you're looking for the biggest trend in leadership this fall, look no further than corporate's hottest CEO pick and the classic model middle-aged white guy. 24 hours has been the year CEO turnover, with some 1,450 having announced their departure so far, up 15% from the same period last year, and the highest year-to-date total on record, according to research executive coaching and outplacing. And it talks about who, against a new rate of CEOs who are women, women CEOs fell 0.7%. Compared with the same period. And also the ranks of women and people of color, as they say, is thinning out as well. Just 52 businesses in 2024 Fortune 500 rankings were run by women, holding flat from the year before. Obviously, the white guy CEO never went out of fashion. Women have rarely represented more than 10% of Fortune 500 companies. People of color also wildly underrepresented in the seat, which, by the way, if you go ahead and watch Hollywood TV shows and movies, you get the opposite idea. Because they're trying to push the idea that, well, it's all of these women, strong women out there and so on. And I'm not talking bad about you women. I'm just saying what Hollywood pushes compared to what goes on in the world, right? The story says, but a rash of recent leadership shakeups illustrated the enduring power of the white guy as a kind of a capsule of the wardrobe, for corporate leadership. CVS Health America's latest drugstore chain Friday gave Karen Lynch the boot and replaced her with a longtime executive who's effectively, again, a middle-aged white guy. Oh, my God, liberal Starbucks this summer abruptly ousted an Indian American for less than 2.5 years at the helm and replaced her with a basic middle-aged white guy. This past spring, Under Armour replaced Stephanie Lenartz, I think is how you pronounce her name, just after a year to make way for Kevin Plank, a middle-aged white guy. Meanwhile, Disney's Bob Iger said the company would announce his successor in early 2026. Disney's been through several. They've got some problems going on, but basically they want to replace him with a middle-aged white guy. So, see, what do you do in Evansville? Yesterday I watched Tucker Carlson interviewing Hamlet Dillon about Kamala Harris, and very interesting thing. I encourage people to watch it, and I probably butchered that name, didn't I? Okay, I'll see if I can watch it. And that way I can also get the name straight and how to pronounce it. The stories that I'm reading here says, to be clear, what a board decides to do with its chief executive is the board's business. They're trying to boost profits. Oh, by the way, this reminds me of what was going on in California a couple of years ago, and I got to go do a little bit of a follow-up because I don't know. I don't know what happened with it. California was passing a law that said the board of directors for some company in California has to be diverse. DEI hires, in other words. If you're going to have a board of directors, you got to make sure to have equal representation of minority groups and women, and et cetera, et cetera. In other words, a virtue signaling board. Don't get a board of directors filled with people who know how to make a profit, who know how to make a company successful and profitable. No. Instead, you're doing a bunch of DEI hires. Okay, so I have this story, again, from CNN, which I think is hysterical. I touched on it now. We'll get into it a little bit more tomorrow because I think it, to me, is interesting that it's not working out. You don't hire someone for a job, any job, because you're trying to fill some kind of quota or make the virtue signal to make the company look good. You put someone in the position because they're good at what they do. And that's the only reason why. This person gets results. They are good at what they do. That's why we're hiring this person. And if you get them into that position and it turns out they're not good at what they do, then you get rid of them. And you get someone who is. That's one thing. Love the guy or hate him, I don't care. That's one thing I'll give Trump credit for when it comes to his management style. I watched Trump do this. I'd never watched too much of The Apprentice. Tried a couple of episodes. It wasn't for me. But I even watched when Trump was president, what he would do. He would hire someone to do a job. As president, Trump would hire someone to do a job. And if that person was not getting results in a certain length, a certain period of time, thank you very much for trying. Out the door that person goes, and he would hire somebody else. I think maybe you can do it. You get in there. And that person has a certain period of time to get results. And if that person can't get results, who else we got? And Trump just brings people through until he finds someone who can do the job. And it doesn't matter what that person looks like. He's not hiring people because of their color or their sexuality or anything like that, their gender, it doesn't matter. Hiring them because they get results, that's the only reason why. 9:43, Wake Up Wyoming.
Serious takes on local politics, or something like that. Tune in weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. to Wake Up Wyoming with Glenn Woods.
9:48 is the time. It's Wake Up Wyoming. Off we go to talk to Frank Gambino about sports. So, Frank, while you've been out, Miss Mary was out too today. And, so she left me a list of things to do. And one of the things on the list was don't do anything I wouldn't do. What a piece of horrible advice that is.
Well, I mean, that is so far-ranging.
Yeah. It's kind of vague, isn't it?
Yeah, not only is it vague, I mean, it's just there's so many intangibles there. I just don't understand.
Well, and she's a girl. I mean, there's a lot of things that she would do that I wouldn't do, and vice versa.
Well, yeah.
So I'll have to have a talk with her.
And she's half your age, too.
Exactly.
So,
well, she's
there.
Probably less than that. Yeah. So, okay. Oh, by the way, I know that because I went to a McDonald's for some breakfast over the weekend, and the little jerk behind the counter gave me the senior discount without even asking me.
He's not a jerk for doing that. He's doing you a favor. You saved the whole 80 cents.
I could have pulled him across the counter and smacked him one. But all right. So earlier this week, our friend Drew Kirby put up a post here. Those turkeys that are with you in Casper, you're not allowed to throw rocks at them.
No, you can't throw rocks at them. Leave them alone.
It's okay. Well, some people are really annoyed by these.
Well, yeah, you're annoyed because, you know what? The turkeys don't care.
Yeah. No slingshots. No BB guns.
No.
Okay. They're trying to find a way to get
corn or something.
Right. They're trying to find a way to get the turkeys to move on. But you're not allowed to harass them. There's actually a city ordinance. No person shall discharge any firearm, bow, crossbow, slingshot that ejects a bullet, pellet, arrow, BB, dart, or other projectile by explosion, gas propulsion, spring propulsion, or any other means of propulsion within these city limits. What about stepping on my gas pedal?
You're going to try to run the turkey over?
No person shall throw a stone or a missile upon any building or a public or private property or upon any person or upon any vehicle within the city. So rock throwing is illegal.
Okay. No rock throwing.
Okay.
Boy, that took the best part out of my childhood.
Yeah, it is unlawful for any person not being law enforcement officer while in the city to wear or carry any switch-operated knife or blade, and on it goes. And so, okay. So they don't want switchblades either, something like that. All right, so I did write a story a little while ago, and I'm not trying to kill these birds, Frank, but I am. Okay. We've talked about this before. When they start to cross the street in a giant herd, slow down a little bit so they can get the idea that you're coming, but don't stop, and they will get out of your way.
Oh, I didn't know that. Everyone stops and takes pictures of them.
Yeah, don't do that. You're just holding up traffic. And by the way, if you happen to hit one and kill it, Thanksgiving's right around the corner.
There you go. All right, in college football, the Wyoming Cowboys lost again over the weekend. This time the San Jose State in California on Saturday afternoon, 24-14. So they are 1-6 overall and 1-2 in Mountain West Conference play. What has happened to these guys? San Jose State wasn't great by any stretch, but Wyoming was worse. And the Spartans gladly would like to just turn the whole game over to the Cowboys with 3 turnovers in the first half, and the folks failed to capitalize on those gifts. As for quarterback Evan Swoboda, not a very good performance again. He threw a brutal fourth-quarter interception on a screen pass, and we've seen that before. So head coach Jay Sawvell finally benched him, and redshirt freshman Caden Anderson got a chance. He threw 2 interceptions and a TD pass. Turns out that this week against Utah State, they'll play both Swoboda and Anderson in a platoon situation. We'll see how that works. Cowboy running game was non-existent over the weekend. The Polk defense surrendered close to 500 yards of offense to the Spartans. San Jose State, so Wyoming is 1-6. Utah State, who will be in Laramie at 5 p.m. on Saturday, is also 1-6. This is the Who Cares Bowl. That's a 5 p.m. start on Saturday from War Memorial Stadium. We'll have that for you on KT Radio in Casper and KOWB in Laramie. High school football in 4A from over the weekend. Sheridan clinched the number 1 seed in the playoffs with a 41-14 win over Campbell County. Sheridan is 8-0 and Campbell County 7-1. Cheyenne 7-1 after a 36-6 win over Rock Springs. East will play Campbell County this week. The winner will be the number 2 seed in the 4A playoffs, and the loser will be the 3 seed. Petrona is firm in the 4 spot with a 62-0 win over Hapless Cheyenne South. Cheyenne Central will beat Kelly Walsh 24-14. Central kept their playoff hopes alive at 2-6. They'll be at Natrona this week. The Tribe could finish like 6th or be out of the playoffs at as high as 6th. Kelly Walsh can finish high as 5th, and they are 3-5. They'll be hosting Rock Springs this week, and a loss and some other teams helping out in the wrong way could take them out of the playoffs. Laramie lost to Thunder Basin 47-14, so the Plainsmen are 2-6. They can make the playoffs or be beat out, depending on other games. In 2A, Burns over Newcastle 49-14, so Burns will be either the 2nd, 3rd, or the 4th seed from the East in the 2A playoffs. Glen Rock is winless following a 44-24 loss to Upland Sundance. In 1A 9-man, top-rated Lingleport Laramie edged number 2 Pine Bluffs 30-27 in the great game. Pine Bluffs will either be the 2 or the 3 seed from the East in the 9-man playoffs. In 6-man football, Midwest lost on the road to Matiti 53-30, so the Oilers could be in or out of the postseason depending on this week's action. The same thing goes for KC, who beat Hewlett on Saturday 61-52. Casper Christian eliminated from the playoffs. They lost to number 1 Little Snake River 59-6 over the weekend. And that's in sports.
I will have fresh candy for you tomorrow.
Excellent.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Frank.
You know, I gotta have that. I gotta have that sugar buzz.
Yeah,
you know,
right, yeah.
Bright and early in the morning with the coffee. You know,
it's exactly what keeps you going. It's Wake Up Wyoming.